this meeting, the TRTA District 8, the Executive Committee and Committee Chairs Budget Meeting, Thursday, July 30th, 2020, 9:30 through Zoom. And I'm going to record these meetings. So Becky, if you'll go ahead and hit recorder.
It's recording.
Okay. Looks like we've got somebody, and that might be Carolyn there. We'll admit her and see if that's.
It's a device name. I can't tell who it is.
Okay.
It said Becky Serliano down at the bottom.
That's me.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's waiting in the room. Let's see who this is. It might be Carolyn. That's the only one I think we lack. Let's see. Okay, if everybody will go ahead and mute, please.
Yes.
You'll find your little microphone there, and if you'll mute.
Let's see if I can find it. Okay, let's mute.
Know what you're talking about.
And you may have to go ahead and you can mute them too, I think, Becky, if we need to.
I can mute everybody, or I can ask all to unmute.
Okay. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have those controls.
Okay. And then we're waiting. Who we got? Yeah, that's Carolyn. Is that Carolyn? Good morning. I believe that's Carolyn, isn't it?
That's who it is. She's off center in the picture.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and rename her too, so just so we know everybody. Okay. And then like I say, if everybody will mute.
I don't know how to do that. What are you talking about?
Let's see.
I don't either. I can't. Oh,
Okay.
Look at the edges of the screen. You may have to touch it to bring up the controls and look for a picture of a microphone.
Okay.
And when you touch it, it
Yeah.
has a red, turns red with a line through it. And that's muting yourself.
Okay. All right. Oh, we don't have hers. Okay. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Again, we're calling the meeting to order, and we're recording this meeting. We are currently in what we refer to as unprecedented times and unprecedented actions. I've spent the last 2 days in district leadership training with all the other district presidents and with Tim and his staff and Leroy and the state officers. And it's, like I say, the biggest thing has been our challenge that we're now all facing. We're all in this together situation. So as we go through our morning, again, all the meetings will be recorded. We're going to use Zoom etiquette, which at this point is if you'll remain muted. If you do have a question, if you can either raise your hand or if you want to go onto the chat feature, Becky is going to be the co-host and help me to watch and answer things and stop me if needed. And because I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity on input. We don't want to miss anybody on anything in regards to that. So if we'll take a moment, let's do an invocation and we'll get our meeting started. Dear Lord, thank you for this day you've made. We ask for your wisdom as we conduct our business. Lord, watch over and protect the health and the safety and bless all of these in attendance. In your name we pray, amen. All right, we're gonna do our introduction of our attendees. And so I wanna ask, Miss Ruby's gonna call their officer name and your chair name. And will you unmute yourself, state your name and your local unit, and so we can make sure we take our roll. So Miss Ruby, if you'll go ahead and we'll get you unmuted. And there we go. And then if you'll just call the roll when she calls your name, if you'll unmute, state your name and your local unit, please. Okay. Let's see, can we get her unmuted? Okay, Ms. Ruby, can you unmute?
That good?
Yes, ma'am. There we go. If you'll just call the officers by names and
President Julie Spears,
Julie Spears, I am Western Bowie County.
First Vice President Andy Kirby,
Andy Kirby, Texarkana, Bowie County, First Vice President.
Second Vice President Sheila Daughtry,
Sheila Daughtry, Second Vice President, Lamar Delta.
Secretary Ruby Brown, Longview Gray County, Treasurer Laura Marlowe,
I'm Laura Marlowe. I am a member of Texarkana, Bowie County.
Parliamentarian George Kell,
George Kale, parliamentarian from Longview, Gregg County, retired teachers.
Historian Indy Hedgehog. Indy,
Hi, I'm Enda Herzog from Mount Pleasant, Titus County.
thank you. Immediate past president Joan Cooks, absent.
Not out in attendance.
Legislative Chair Charles Thompson. He didn't hear it.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead and mark him present.
Okay, I did. Information Protective Service Chair Minnie Birdsong.
I'm Minnie Birdsong, Franklin County, RSEA.
Community Volunteer Service Chair Jean Bratton.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Jean.
Jean Bratton, Texarkana Independent School District, Community Service.
Retirement Education Committee Chair Julie Spears.
Julie Spears, Western Bowie County.
Healthy Living Chair Mary Snell.
Mary Snell, Lamar Delta.
Foundation Liaison Renee Steele.
Renee Steele, Oil Patch TRTA school employees.
Member Benefits Carolyn Lynch.
Carolyn Lance, Eastern Cass County School Retirees.
Technology Contact Rebecca Sorolino.
Becky Serliano, Oil Patch,
Serliano.
TRTA.
Thank you. Local Unit Support Racine Mitchell.
Racine Mitchell, Longview Gregg County, RTA.
All right, we've taken our attendance, all in attendance except Joan Cook. Our first item is to approve the minutes of the District 8 Executive Board meeting, February 6, 2020. We can remember that far back. You should have received a copy of those minutes. I'd take a motion to accept the minutes as presented, please.
I will move to accept those minutes as presented.
And I ask for a second.
Second.
All right, second, Ms. Racine. All right, are there any discussions, corrections, anything to our minutes? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, if you'll raise your hand. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you. Item number 5, presentation of the 2019-2020 audit. If you do, as it states, note that the COVID-19 and the shelter in place TRTA canceled all annual self-audits for the year. Therefore, the 2019-20 audit of actuals and budget, and I'm going to put that up on the screen. Share that. All right, and this is what I'm talking about. You should have a copy of this. Again, this is closing out the year, and I do want to have it noted in the minutes that Laura Marlowe and myself review this, and because of the circumstances, generally we close our year at June 30th, but because of the circumstances, it was not closed until July 20th. And so we had to make the adjustments of what was actually presented to us as of July 20th was the $11,332.44, and that's what we received the check from the prior treasurer and president, and Laura deposited that. So any questions on that? Again, we won't approve it because it wasn't necessarily officially as an audit, was reviewed by members, and it was agreed and confirmation was made. So do we have any questions, anything there, anybody regarding the closing of the books for the 1920 year? Okay, seeing none, that'll be noted that we did receive our budget and actuals for the 1920 year. All right, on to our proposed budget. That's our primary focus today, our responsibility to prepare a budget that will be presented at our meeting that will include this group plus our local presidents, and that's our proposed budget. So if you've got a copy of that, I'm gonna bring that up and kind of go through it. Laura and I looked over this, talked a little bit. You can see I made some comments about if there was an increase, decrease, why we didn't do something along there. So I'm going to kind of go through it, but if you have questions, Becky, if you will bring it to my attention, because what I'm seeing right now is basically the spreadsheet. So if somebody has a question, let me know.
That's all I can see too.
Okay. If you'll,
So I'll have to go through the chat function.
yeah, if you've got a question, is everybody familiar with the chat? And I'll stop and we'll check. There's a little box. It should be it. So again, it's at the bottom. It's chat. It's where you can ask a question and it'll pop up there.
If you're on an iPad, it's in the top right corner and it's three
Okay.
dots. You hit that menu and chat is under it.
Okay. Yeah. Let me just a second here. If you'll take a moment to look at that, I'll be right back. Just a moment. Miss Julie. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yes, yes, go ahead. I probably need to get back. I've got to take mom to the airport. Okay. 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 Thank you. There we go. All right. I do apologize for that. I'm taking a neighbor to the doctor and I want to make sure everything was good with her. All right. So on the budget, I'm going to go through the proposal. Again, the balance was $11,332.44. We did receive our rebate check, and what that's based on is we get $3 per member, and we received that this week, and Laura deposited that. So at the present time, as of today, we have $23,311.44 in the account. Then our proposed expenditures, as you can see, we had what we set up in 1920 was the budget, and then the actuals will be what was actually spent. You see there was a proposed 100, there was nothing spent, but would like to recommend 350, and this again is because of the Zoom situation. We're not in person. A lot of our stuff will have to be mailed. So I feel like we'll need to increase our postage, our supplies and printing, because again, we won't be in person to provide information, and we'll have to mail out to a lot of our members. Then we have our district planning. Again, fall, we'll discuss it a little bit later on our agenda, but our fall conference is going to be by Zoom. It will not be in person. Spring, we anticipate that we're going to be able to do that. So I just did half of what that budget was. Then if we go down to fall, again, no in-person meetings, so there's no expenditures to be expected. Spring, we again anticipate we'll be able to do it, so that I went ahead and made those budget items. Then we get down to travel again, broke it down a little bit anticipating we will be able to do some things in the spring.
Julie, I have a question.
Yes, Andy.
Under executive committee travel,
Yes.
it says second vice president / membership chair.
Mm-hmm.
I thought first vice president was membership chair.
That is correct. Thank you, Andy. We'll need to
Well,
modify that.
I mean, it doesn't make a,
No,
it's
but
the
it does,
same
yeah.
on the other
Yeah,
budget too.
Yeah.
I think it, okay.
yeah. So we need to correct that. Thank you.
Now, if Sheila wants to do membership too, she can.
You can do that too. All right. Thank you. We got that corrected. All right. Any questions at this point? Any questions that I've gone over? I don't want to go too fast. I want everybody to have an opportunity to understand what we're preparing here. Okay. Then we go down again, the retirement seminar. Again, it's not sure at this point. We're going to again anticipate that we will have our retirement seminar. So we went ahead and prepared a budget. We'll see as we go further in the year if we'll actually be able to hold that. Then we have the special rebate. Of course, this will be the
Julie.
Yes,
Julie?
George. Yes, sir.
Question on that
Uh-huh.
retirement seminar.
Yes.
Why does it have under actual for 2019? It's blank. We budgeted $300 for rental, and we paid $300 for rental.
Rental. Okay.
And I'm just wondering
Okay.
why it's blank under
Right
actual.
there. All right, we will actually need to check on that because again, this was presented to us, so I will follow up on that with the prior, see if maybe they put it somewhere else. I don't know why it would be unless for some reason it's under the supplies, but if there was a true $300, George?
It's $300 for the rental
Okay.
of the facility, yes.
Okay.
And we paid it.
Okay. Are there anything else under there that's the refreshments, postage, any of that's not accurate?
That it appears to be actual, what we actually spent.
Okay. All right. So we will check on the facilities rental.
Julie,
Yes.
could it be the $300 outstanding checks?
No, that was,
Okay, no, that's not it. Okay.
yeah, thank you for asking, but no, that's the $300 that we decided to give each of our members, yeah. On the rental, let's see why that didn't show up. Okay, and if there's a need for an adjustment or something. All right, anything else? Any questions on that? Thank you, George, for bringing that to our attention. The special rebate, this will be the first year that we do the day at the Capitol. It's no longer a convention, it's the day at the Capitol. So we don't know what to expect or anticipate on how that's going to be a rebate. So I don't have anything budgeted until we get more information. I was actually in the district president leadership the last 2 days, and that was discussed, and they're working on what's that going to look like. They do have it on the calendar for April 7th, the day at the Capitol, but they're working out all the details. So right now we don't have anything budgeted regarding that. Now, one of the things I would like to come back and propose based on the meetings that we had the last 2 days that was recommended from Tim and from various presidents is to offer local units a membership to Zoom. And we have 17 units. Some will participate, some will not. But I would like to bring that to the table for discussion. Becky and I kind of discussed it earlier, is we had 2 possible options. We could purchase one as District 8 and make it available to our local units, or we could offer each of the local units to purchase that for a year. It cost, I believe right now it's $150 for a year. It's, I think, $15 a month times 12 is 150 times 17. So that would be $2,250 is what would come out of our budget. And if expenditure, we didn't spend anything on the conference. So we do have money that we could give back to our local districts. So I'd like to open up. Yes.
The $15 membership is a maximum of 9 hosts.
Okay.
A single membership would not cover the 17 locals at that cost. It would be the $20 membership
Yeah, we'd have
at
to,
that cost.
each individual would have to purchase one, have to buy one each individual on that. If looking at it too, Becky, on that, is each one would have a separate one. And again, I think even though this was brought up yesterday, we could do more research, but even though it says 9 hosts, you still have to pay for each of those hosts separately.
Yes, it's a separate cost for each of those hosts.
Right.
And of course, the possibility would be to have 2 accounts spread between, and that would still give one administrative level in each case.
Yes. So like I say, I'd like to open that up for possible discussion. We'll take this down just a minute. In regards to, do we want to offer this to each of our local units, that we would pay the cost of a Zoom membership for 1 year? Again, I know there are some of our local units that have already said they don't want to participate by Zoom. So we wouldn't be a full 17, but that would be the maximum. So I'd like to open the floor for some conversation on that.
This is Renee. I think that's an awesome suggestion, because we had our planning session not too long ago when we were struggling with, who's going to pay for it and how's it going to get paid and who's going to do it. And when you change officers, how that works. So, man, if the local had money if the district had money to do that for a year, I'm all in favor.
Okay. What else? Some other feedback.
Lamar Delta is definitely in favor of that. And in fact, I'll allude to Mary. I think we already have Zoom, and we have had our executive board meeting already by Zoom. So we're using Zoom
already.
in the way that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Is that not correct, Mary?
That is correct. Sabrina Rawson set all that up, our new president.
Okay, so y'all have bought it within your district, within your local unit?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with having bought it. I think we did. I know we had to have the meeting under an hour and things. So there were some
That's
other
free.
rules. So so it may have been a free one.
Okay. And
Okay, question, Julie?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we've had several Zoom meetings with the executive board in our unit. And they do limit you. There is a free version, but they limit you to 40 minutes, and that was a problem for us.
Yes.
How many participants can participate with one of these Zoom meetings?
All right. With the Pro, which is the $15, I believe it's 100. Is that right, Becky? I think it's 100.
That's what I remember it being.
Yeah. 100 participants. So the only unit that may have a problem, Lamar Delta, do y'all have in attendance when y'all do a meeting? Do you have more than 100? Does anybody else have more than 100 when they do a local meeting?
We've come close to
Okay.
100. I think at our first meeting or two during the year, we have maybe 75 or 80 people.
Okay.
But I'm not sure that that's going to get the same participation through Zoom.
Right.
My experience is about half of, with our executive board, we only had about, at the max, about half of the people that were able to do that.
Yeah. And that was kind of my thinking too, is we start with the largest, like I say. Mary, you have a question? Go ahead.
Okay. Even our executive board meeting did not have near all of our members, because some of them are just either not equipped with technology for a Zoom meeting, or they just are not interested in setting it up. Our membership could very easily go over 100, because some of ours that also have part-time jobs or whatever might be able to watch a Zoom meeting where they couldn't attend. So I don't know how to really answer that.
Okay.
Nobody does.
Yeah. Here's kind of the plan. If we approve it in our budget, is Becky and I will contact each local president and offer it to them and explain to them how it works, because one of the other things is TRTA isn't a tax exempt organization, and you have to send in your tax exempt form so you don't get taxed, all those little technicalities there. But what we would do is contact each president. If they're interested, then we would assist them in setting that up in regards to that. And if there was a local unit that felt like they needed more than that amount, then we would make that modification at that point. Like, for example, the one we're on this morning is from my personal business account, and that's probably what we'd use at my local, is go ahead and I would allow them to do that because I've got to be involved. So again, not all 17 of our locals will participate. We would hope they would, but I know I'm already in contact with some that again, don't have the equipment or don't feel capable of doing that, although we want to encourage that. So with all that said, I'm going to go back to our budget.
I want to say one more thing. When I was looking at that for the possibility of our local doing that, there's a discount if you buy it for a year rather than month by month.
Okay.
Instead of being $150, it's like $129 or something like that.
Something,
So
yeah. Okay.
check into that.
Somebody mentioned that. Good. Okay. So,
But the $150 a year is the discounted price, because 15 a month is times 60. It is 600 times. It's 10 months you're paying for at $150 a month, a year. It's 10 months you're paying for, not all 12. So that's the discounted $150 a year was at 10 months. So that's discounted.
okay. So what I am doing, let me make sure, is I've added a line in the budget for Zoom subscription at 150 times 17. Let me double check my math. 15 times 150. That's 2,550. So that would be 2,550 that we would add to this budget, which would now adjust our bottom line to 12,100. So that would be the budget that we would present at our next meeting. That includes our local presidents. So there we are on discussion. Anything, again, want to open the floor. Is there any other line item that we need to look at? And two, I want to know, also let you know, we will modify this. Laura and I will monitor it. And if we see there's a need to adjust it, we will definitely do an amended budget, knowing the uncertainty that we're in at this time. So at this point, this is the budget that I would like to propose. And again, want to open the floor. Is there any discussion regarding a line item, including adding the Zoom subscription line? So that would be the amount so we have more revenue than we do expenditure, so it's a balanced budget.
I think it looks good, and I agree with adding the expenditure on the Zoom if the locals can use it and want it. I think that's a great idea.
All right, so I'd like to, yes, we have a question.
Question, Racy
Yes,
Mitchell, I second the motion. And at the same time, will you look at miscellaneous expenses across the balance that you have on? It should be listed there on the miscellaneous expenses. Whatever your line of balance will be, then it should be listed there where it said miscellaneous expenses. Because
right here,
that's where you see miscellaneous expenses under there.
Yes,
whatever
ma'am.
the balance is between the expense and your income, whatever's left should be listed there.
Okay.
Where it's blank. And when you look at it, it'll balance out.
Yeah, so if I put the difference between what you're saying is the 23,311.44 and the difference here, there, we want a balanced budget.
Right.
Okay.
And that'll balance your budget out. But it when you go and get anything else you need to add, it will come from your miscellaneous expenses.
Miscellaneous fund. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
That's functioning as a contingency fund.
Fund, more or less, yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let me
thank you.
do this. I'm gonna do it right now. That is D. 15 minus D55. Didn't like that. Okay. D14 minus 55. So, okay. I'll make that correction. My spreadsheet. We'll put that, and that way it will be a balanced budget. But our actual expenditures are 12,100. Okay. All right, we have a motion by Sheila, seconded by Ms. Racine, to accept this proposed budget that will be presented at our next meeting, which includes officers, chairs, and local unit presidents. All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you. So we have our proposed budget. All right, update from TRTA. How many of you, I got an email, the one that was Tim's video message. Do y'all receive that? Have you had an opportunity? If you haven't, please do. It's just a quick overview of what's going on, and Tim's addressing some situations, and Tim's always very good about that, very motivational, very positive. So I encourage you to if you didn't get the email, let me know, we'll share it. But if you're a member of the TRTA email system, you would have gotten an email from Tim on that. But he did say too, he's available if you want him at a local unit meeting, to get in touch with him, get on his schedule. He'd love to be part of any of those meetings. So I'll send you the contact information. Shelby is his kind of a assistant that works his calendars, but that was one of the things with Tim. He said, I'd love to be part of meetings. So we want to encourage that if you can have him participate in any of your local meetings. Just to update, as I said, I've attended multiple meetings with Tim, the staff, the district presidents in preparation. Of course, they're focusing primarily on our safety and security of our members. Again, therefore, all of the in-person meetings for the remainder of the year have been canceled, and this includes our fall conference and then any local meetings. The biggest,
Julie?
yes, yes, Andy.
If you're talking about getting on Tim's schedule, you probably need to do the retirement seminar. Get him on that.
That's good.
With legislation in session. I don't know whether he'll make it or not, but.
Yeah, okay. That's part of that. Down here, I'm going to put together a fall conference committee, because we'll need to, like I say, that's one of the things is we've got to get in touch with all these people along with Dr. Thompson. If we've got any, legislative rep, we need to get on a calendar, and so we want to put that together so that we make sure we get everybody's, this being so different this time around. So thank you, Andy. Let's see. Of course, one of the things TRTA's biggest emphasis is maintaining involvement and our participation, and that's going to be a challenge. We already see through Zoom meetings, emails, text messages, phone calls, mail outs. The main thing is to do this, we've got to focus on this, and we'll have some of our local units that again don't have the capability, don't want to try it, and that's perfectly okay. We respect that, but we need to keep them
That's what our email said.
Yeah, involved with that. They will continue to communicate.
Well, I started dialing numbers yesterday, and I dialed 22.
You'd heard there. So that's one of the things is as they communicate things to me, I'll make sure I share those with you also. And of course, you get through email, things of that nature. And of course, one of the things that we have done is we created the cluster, and each officer received what we're calling a buddy. We assigned them at least 3 presidents, and they've made contact with them, and they'll kind of check on them, be their buddy, and if they need things, make sure they're getting the information. I appreciate everybody that's doing that. Thank you so much for your feedback, because that's going to help me in contacting our presidents, what they feel comfortable with. But that's one of the things we're doing is we've assigned a buddy system to check in and work with each of our local units with that. Item 8 on our agenda is our district calendar. TRTA asked for these dates last week. And I think we had these maybe discussed earlier, but some of them I had to just make a choice at this point with those. So put these on your calendar. Our District 8 Executive Board, which includes all of these present today, our district officers, our committee chair, and then our local presidents, will be scheduled for August 20th. That will be a Zoom meeting. So we'll get in touch with all those that can participate. And like I say, the ability to call in on a phone is available. So we're going to encourage, that way we can have all in attendance with that. So that will be in, go ahead, 9:30. I didn't put the date down, but let's do a 9:30. And that'll be a Zoom meeting. Any questions on that? That's the one that, again, we start the year off generally and planning.
Should we let our buddies know that?
Yeah, you can go ahead and I'll send out, after we finished up, I'm going to try to contact each of our presidents, but if you're those officers, if you'll go ahead and let them know so they can get it on their calendar.
Okay.
Go ahead and give them all these dates.
It's good for them to have it twice.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't over communicate as far as I'm concerned. Exactly. And also at that meeting, we generally would talk about the fall conference scheduling and all of that. That's going to be totally different this year on that. So item 9, when we get to that, we'll kind of address how we'll do that. But the fall conference is scheduled for October 15th. I think we have Ella. Let's see, Ella's the treasurer, I believe, the state treasurer.
Ella Gaucher?
Yes.
No, she's second vice now.
Second,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. Yes. So she's going to be our representative from the state, already in touch with TRS about having their rep there. And so it'll function similar to what our fall conference always looks like. It's just we won't be in the service center in the room. We'll be on Zoom conducting that. Tim will be available, do presentations. So, but that's going to be on the 15th. Our proposed district leadership is April 29th, and we also had to give them an alternative. You can see that's May 6th. Once I get confirmation, I'll make sure you have that. And then our the District 2021 district fall, October 14th, again, alternate dates. So get these dates on your calendar, and if you officers will share with your buddies on that, and go ahead and they can get that on their calendar. Any questions on those dates? That should cover all of the meetings that we have generally. 9, appoint a fall conference committee. What I felt we might need to do at this point, because it's going to look so different, is put together a small committee and determine what we need, who we need, how that's going to look, and then we can bring it back and have it ready for our August 20th meeting to present. And I would like to ask the following, if you would be willing to serve, would be Andy, Sheila, George, Racine, and myself, if you would serve on that committee. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay, good, thank you. Like I say, I'll be getting in touch with you shortly. We'll do a Zoom and kind of talk about what we need to pull together for that, so we can get the agenda prepared on that. So that committee will be Andy, Sheila, George, Racine, and myself. All right. Reports. Again, it's important that we make contact with our local counterparts. So each of the officers and chairs, I think I provided you with what documentation or training that was supposedly was going to be given out at conference, and you've had an opportunity to share that with your counterparts at the local. If you haven't or need some information, let me know. At the local data, and of course, there's always corrections of information. So if you run across that, let me know so we can get that corrected. But please get that in their hands as soon as possible and make contact with them. One of the things we want to offer is, for example, if you are the Healthy Living chair and you would like to have just the, all the local healthy chair personnel to have a Zoom meeting, I'd be willing to set that up and host that, or Becky, myself would do that. So that way, if you feel like you need to do that, and it may be just to get together, see faces, and answer any questions they may have, I'm going to kind of leave that up to you. Just know if you need some assistance with getting information to them or want to set up a Zoom, just let us know. Again, it's just trying to get information to them and help support them, because some of them may be new to their role and don't know what to present or where to find resources regarding that. So I want to open it up and go through and see if any of the officers and each of the chairs, if you have any comments, questions, anything that needs to go at this point. So Andy, I'll start with you. Anything from the first vice?
I have contacted all of the first vice presidents and kind of went over what our job is. And I still have 2 that don't have emails. So I mailed them a copy of the email. That's all I've done. I hope.
Okay.
I'm also a unit first vice president. So I'm getting the information too.
To yourself. Yeah, great. Second, Sheila. Yeah.
Okay, I have the information for the local unit second vice presidents, and it is my duty to give it, to be sure that every local second vice president has this.
Yes, yes,
okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
Okay.
And you got the spreadsheets, the data. Yeah, the local unit. Yeah, if you'll go through that, you should have all of the second vice. And like I say again, some of them have emails. If they don't, you may have to mail or call them. And I'll address that here in a little bit about expenses that you may be incurring. But yes, please get that out to all of them.
Okay.
Secretary, Ms. Ruby. Anything on you?
Oh, she's muted.
Okay.
She's muted.
May not be muted.
There we go.
She may be muted.
Yeah. Ms. Ruby, you have anything you need to share?
Yes, I have sent the information that I have received, including the resource guide to all secretaries, and I mailed the one to the one that did not have an email address.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I have emailed all of the district treasurers, the local treasurers. I did not get any of them back, so I'm assuming they got their list of duties, and I have not heard from any of them, but the list was sent to them.
Okay. 2 things, Laura, if you'll follow up that came from my meetings, remind them that TRTA is a tax exempt organization. And that means they cannot accept donations, but they can accept gifts. If they receive something and they send a letter, they have to say thank you for the gift, not the donation. And if, of course, they need a document showing the tax exempt form, Rosalind can provide that to them. And the other thing was if they've changed bank accounts locally, make sure they send that to Rosalind too. So those are 2 things addressed with the treasurer. All right. George, anything you have that you need to share?
I don't have anything at this point.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Enda from Historian, anything?
Just that I worked real hard this week and set up the Gmail account and added groups of the executive officers, the historians, and anyway, people to email about the pictures, and I will be sending some to technology just because some don't have anything. So I'm just doing the best I can that way, and then I'll mail out something later since there's no urgency this year.
Okay. Will it be similar to where we have to send you pictures of certain things each year, like the officers or activities? Have you heard anything on that yet?
Well, we need to do that just for our local benefit because I don't have to do the slides until the year we have the convention.
Right.
But we're so restricted right now that if we can go ahead and if there's any kind of an activity that community service or something that you'd like to, that the group does. But it's going to be totally different, but I'm hoping everybody will use the Gmail account, because when they text me the pictures, it kind of gets lost in my phone with all the other texts and messages that I get. So I'm going to really stress sending it to the Gmail account if possible.
Okay, and you've sent that out to everybody, that the historian?
Well, I haven't yet. I was going to wait till after this meeting and talk to y'all and like see what kind of response I get from all of you for sending me a picture when I send you that Gmail account. So
what is your email? What is your email address that you want us to send it to?
I will be sending one out to everybody.
It said
all of y'all. I can't remember how I put it. It's kind of long, but it'll be a Gmail with TRTA District 8 Historian or something like that.
Something like that. So watch for that. She sent me one, and that's what it is. So that's what, and so you'll respond to her that way.
And this way I'll check and see my emails if they're right.
Right, exactly. Legislative Chair, Dr. Thompson, anything you need to share with us? Okay, go ahead and unmute.
Okay.
There you go. Okay.
Just be sure to start telling everybody, be sure they are registered to vote. And we'll be sending out some information on specific people we want to watch for and vote for. So they'll be coming out in September, October.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Minnie. Oh, like Edna, you got a question or something?
Yes, one of our local members is running against Cole Hefner for representative, LaWanda Prince. I haven't seen much about her because of the COVID, but she is running. So there is a retired teacher that is running for one position, if we can support her.
Okay, thank you. Minnie.
I have the list that you sent me that has all the informative and protective service chairs, and I'm making a contact list with that, and I will be using that to communicate with them.
Okay, very good, thank you. Jean. Let me unmute you.
I guess I missed the list that you sent. Did you send me a list of the chairs?
Yes, it's in an Excel spreadsheet, and I can certainly resend it. And on that, there will be several tabs at the bottom of your Excel spreadsheet. You'll have like the district, the presidents, and then every of our local units are listed. So you'll have to go through each tab to find that information. But if you need some help, no, but I'll resend that to you.
Okay, I have a few questions. I will get started on this then, but I plan to do it all by email. You think that's okay? If they have email.
Yeah, if they have email,
okay.
That's certainly, and do, as I do, put a statement about please reply. That way you know they get it. And if you don't get a reply,
okay,
because there's, like I say, they may have an email, but a lot of people I've learned don't check those. So kind of watch that. And if you have anybody that doesn't have an email, you may have to call them. And, you know, they may have one, they just don't have it listed with the records, or you may have to mail it, just depending on. So that's what you start with, email and work from there.
Okay, but here are my questions and my comments.
Sure.
You do realize with all of this social distancing and everything closed, our volunteer numbers will have to be very down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I am also the local one. And so I'm thinking, I have most of the people in our group, about 150 of them, in my phone system anyway, because I emailed them about meetings last. Do you think it's okay to email them each month and ask for the volunteer hours that way, since we won't be meeting? Because I have, my local president hasn't given me any instructions.
Yeah, you could certainly do that. And keep in mind, let them know too, even though we may be, quote, distancing, just like this time that we're doing here, the time does count. And, you know, again, it's kind of the broader thinking outside the box of what can count if you're still doing
Right.
services, but it still counts the hours that you do, even though you weren't traveling or something. But if you're doing the planning for nature.
Okay, I'll get started on that right away.
And I'll get that resent to you. But if you got any questions,
Okay.
don't hesitate. Thank you, Jean.
Thanks.
All right. Let's see. Jean, Julie. Okay, Mary.
First, let me address that just a second. When I
Sure.
sent out my newsletter as president up until June, when I sent out my newsletter, not necessarily in my newsletter, but in my just a note to them on my email, I asked for volunteer hours each month, and that has worked really well. A lot of them don't send them to the volunteer chair. They just reply back to my email, which meant I forwarded them, but that works and it does help. And ours are way down too. So, I mean, as of June. I have not done anything yet. I'm just going to be honest. I've had a really kind of a tough couple of months, and but that's okay. I will get this done within the week, and I will get I will get caught up.
Okay. If you need help,
I appreciate the information.
okay, but if you need help, don't be afraid to ask. We've got lots of people that can help.
I think mine has been time.
That goes for everybody. If you need help with something, if life throws something in front of you, let us know. We can certainly help you. That's no problem. Let's see, Renee.
Yes, I have received your emails, with the list and the spreadsheet and everything, and I'm in the process of doing that, getting the contacts in an email file, and we'll be sending out information.
Okay.
I again was waiting for this meeting to see what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's kind of what this whole process has been, sitting and waiting till we get
right.
Word down from every level. Exactly. Carolyn.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay. I don't ever know if you can or not. I am going to be setting up a Zoom meeting with all of the member benefits chairman, and if a local doesn't have a member benefits representative, then I will invite the local president to participate and go over the brochure. After, I will send it to them. But I was waiting for this meeting before we started really doing anything, so I would be able to tell them about the fall situation. So that's my plan for now. And on volunteer hours, if I'd like to insert something there, anytime that we are calling and checking on other people about their safety, about what we can do for them, and inquiring about them, that can be volunteer hours. If you volunteer to go and pick up groceries or prescriptions for people and deliver it, that's volunteer hours. And we don't think about those things because we do them so naturally. So remind people of those. That's all. Thank you.
Absolutely. Those count also, so appreciate that. And just like Carolyn says, she's setting up the Zoom meeting for all of her folks. I'm again offering that to any of our chairs and any of our officers. If you want us to try to do a meeting like that, let me know. We'll be glad to set that up. Let's see, Becky, you have anything?
Not, I got a district email account set up that I can set it up so anybody who wants to use it can have access to use it. And I imported every name that you sent in that spreadsheet. And I have like the first vice president, second vice president, secretary, treasurer, all of those lists already created within that. And I'm experimenting with creating a piece of stationery, an email stationery, and signatures that are unique to the stationery and all of that, learning how to use those features in Gmail. And I set up a MailChimp, but I don't know that we'll use it because the free account doesn't let you schedule emails, and Gmail now lets you schedule emails to go out.
Okay.
And I've set up a district Shutterfly account. The only account that I'm aware of that I still need to set up is a Facebook account. I keep putting that off because I've never done a group before. And I've got to have a segment of time that I know I won't be interrupted, so I watch what I'm doing. So I'm getting all of that set up, then I can share whatever I need to. But it's possible for, say, you to be able to get access to that account and either send as yourself or send as that account using those emails. And you had an email address for every single person that was an officer or a chairperson. I did have one bounce that I'm going to have to check with that local president to see if that individual has another technology contact account or and go from there. But we're getting that all set up, and it's going along pretty good so far on that. And I've contacted all the local technology contacts through email, and I forgot to put the reply at the bottom. So I've gotten 3 or 4 replies on that, but only one bounce.
Okay.
So I'll figure it out on remembering to include that reply comment.
Yeah. And I would encourage, like she says, she set up, because I know we all have an account that we get all this information our email in, and sometimes it gets overwhelming and you miss things. That might be something you may want to visit with Becky, and if you want to send out information from your specific office and or chair, and that's kind of another, and of course it's another account you'd have to check, but it wouldn't fall within your personal email and get lost. So if you're interested in that, contact Becky. She can certainly walk you through that, give you access. I like that idea because, you know, I get so much from other organizations and personal, and sometimes you miss somebody's email, and we don't want to do that. So thank you for that, the work you've done on that. Ms. Racine.
Yes. Evidently, I did receive the list of what you said you mailed out with all the presidents and etc. So will you please send that back to me?
Yes, ma'am. I can do
Please,
that.
I only received the one with the officers and chairs.
Okay.
And I didn't receive the other.
Okay.
But I too would be available once I receive this information, and I don't mind sending a resource guide or email them to tell them where it is listed. But it's probably easier to mail them one, and then you know they will have one.
Okay.
Because we have a survey that we would like for all local presidents or the LUS chair to fill out in regard to the things they are doing in their unit and the things they need help.
Great. Okay. And we'll resend that to you. Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I think that covers everybody on that. Okay. One of the things, we're under closing remarks, and it's my little dog. Can y'all hear him? He's barking. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Get him out of the room. There we go. One of the things I do want to note, as we've talked about, if you incur any out-of-pocket expense related to your responsibility as an office or a chair, please document the event and maintain any receipts. And we'll handle these on a monthly basis, and I'll follow up with Laura how we want to do this. It's kind of maybe an expense report, because I know some of you are going to have to mail things. You may have to copy things because we're not able to give things in person. So you're going to have to get that information and things to them. And so please do a kind of an expenditure report, and we'll get a copy of how that form to you. So we're doing that, and we'll do that monthly. That way you don't have to incur expenses related to your responsibilities there. Any questions on that? Anything related to that? Okay, we'll get that out. Let's see, again, you received your local unit data. If there's corrections, and I know there have been because I've received some from you, I will follow up and give you that information, and you can correct it on your side. So anytime as you begin to communicate and any of the information that may be inaccurate, if you'll let me know, we'll centralize that and send it out. Again, your input and your involvement is so important right now with what's going on, and a biggest challenge, and this is again coming from Tim, is keeping all our locals. That is our bloodline. That's what keeps us going, is our local units, and we've got to keep them involved and know how much they're valued. So any form or fashion that we can communicate with them and be involved with them, participate in their meetings if they need us. So, keep that line of communication open. Please know you can contact me, phone, text, email, anytime, and, to each other, because it's our team that's going to get us through this. The unprecedented times and the unprecedented actions that we're going to have to take to keep active. And Dr. Thompson knows this more than anything. This is going to be a legislative year, and they've already said they're not letting folks in at the Capitol. So we've got to approach it from a whole different angle, in valuing that. So we've got to do things we've probably never stepped out and done before. So again, I'd like to open the floor. Any comments, any closing remarks? I appreciate your time this morning. This was very productive, active. You all are almost experts now on Zoom. So that's appreciate that very, very much with that.
You're doing a great job, Julie.
Well, thank you. Like I say, it takes all of us. Believe me, it takes all of us. We all got to, as I say, everybody brings a God-given talent to the table, and we need everybody's.
Great scene.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're doing a fine job for your #1 meeting with us.
Well, thank you. Like I say.
And you have it all outlined, and that's what's good about it.
Well, I want to respect your time, because that's one of the things they said is don't make a meeting more than an hour and a half, because you can lose attention and people get tired. So you kind of want to address what you need and then take care of your business in regards to that. And Miss Ruby, you were able to, your internet worked well today. That's great. Awesome for everybody. Again, thank you for your time. Stay safe, stay healthy. Take care of yourself first, check on others, and pray for everybody. And we'll be in touch. All right. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, Becky, if you'll stay on for just.
Okay.
Unmute. And let's leave.
Julie, do you need me for anything? This is Laura.
No, I think we're taken care of. You said you got that to Rosalind, so we're clear.
Yep.
You got the check, so I think, and you've ordered checks, so I think we're good right now. And you've got Jones reimbursement information, but beyond that, I think we're taken care of then.
Right. I'm fixing to send you a text, and if you'd respond to it later, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, sure will.
All right.
I'd like to ask Becky a question real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you so much for making up all those lists. I mean, that's going to be so helpful. If I just email you and ask for the names and the emails of all the second vice presidents in the locals, then is that what I should do?
That'll be easy to do. Let me ask you this. Are you using a Gmail account?
Yes, ma'am.
I can give it to you in the Excel format, but I can export it out of the Gmail account, and all then you have to do is import it into the account you want it to be in.
That would be great. And then I'll have my contact list done.
Yes.
Yeah, that's super.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll get back with you later, Becky.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate you so much.
You're welcome.
So Becky, basically what you've done is like you have a second vice president's email address.
Okay, here's the process I went through. I took what you sent me and I copied and pasted into one big document. And then I set it into, I sorted it so that the duplicates were all in one place. And I took additional headings like local vice president and local secretary if they were doing the same job, and put it all so that all those labels were on that one person, and then got it down to no duplications, like Minnie appeared 4 times. So all of that information is in her one, and then I imported it into the Gmail account, and then I could search by the label and put them all into one mailing list.
Okay.
So every single name that you sent me in each one of the tabs is accounted for in those lists and has a label for each job in the district and the local that they're fulfilling.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Becky. I'll contact you.
That's great. It won't take any time whenever you send me the request to pull it together.
Good. Thanks, Sheila.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So Becky, what we need to do now is, what have we decided as far as, do we want to try to ask every local if they want a pro account? Is that what we want to look at?
I believe so. I think that's what we talked about.
Yeah.
And that is the one that it's the $15 a month.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I will do, I need to probably talk to all the presidents anyway, just make contact. I will visit with them about that and kind of see how many we're talking about at this point, and then I'll get back with you and we'll kind of see what we need to do to get that started with them. And if they need support, are you willing to assist them on that?
Once I'm able to see what the settings are on things, I should be able to do that. That's where I've not been ready yet with that, is to teach myself what the settings need to be and everything.
Yeah.
And
I tell you what, so y'all, if you want to go ahead, you and Renee want to go ahead and get yours purchased, and then that way you can be playing around with it. Because like I say, right now, y'all don't have one that you're using. You're just using the free one, right?
So far.
Okay. So again, probably what we'll do is have them go ahead and purchase it and then send us the bill and we turn around and reimburse them. It's probably how this is going to work. As far as, instead of sending them a check or anything or a credit card, because I think everything has to be paid on a credit card, then the local unit will pay for it, then we will in turn around and send them a check. I think that's probably the most financial way that it has to be done, because I think you have to pay for it by a credit card. So somebody will have to put it on their credit card, give us the bill, and we turn around and send them a check for reimbursement. So if y'all want to go ahead and do that, that way you can be playing around with it and looking at it, you're certainly welcome to do that. We'll make sure we get you reimbursed with that. What else? Anything else right now? I guess that's
so you have determined that you think the easiest way for us to deal with it is for each local to have their own license as opposed to one master license.
I think so, only because if we do the one, then you or I have to schedule them and be involved in it. That's the only thing I think would be an issue, is if you or I were not there to schedule it and get it, be the host to get it open. What's your feeling on that?
Well, I still don't, I go back and forth because I don't know enough to know that.
Yeah.
But I thought I understood that if they were on the account as a host, that they could schedule their own meetings.
Yeah. See, again, maybe I don't know enough about that.
I don't know enough either. I mean, I may have thought I read that and it might not be what it said.
Let me do this. There's a couple of ladies that have been doing some training, have really gotten into it, is put you in contact with them and maybe visit with them. And that, because like I say, they're setting it up for larger units too, and find out, and then let's meet again before we send anything out or call anybody to make sure.
Okay.
Let's do that. So I will give you their contact information. Let them know you're going to contact them. I see our recording still going, which it's okay with that. Actually, turn that.
Should I turn it off?